4, 3, 2, 1.
Studio Classroom is Please stand by. Studio Classroom is on the air.
Welcome to Studio Classroom on the air, friends. We're so glad to have you with us for another great lesson. My name is Gabe.
And I'm Anne-Marie. Hey, Gabe, have you ever experienced VR before?
VR. There are letters that stand for different things. DR stands for doctor, or short for doctor. VR is actually virtual reality. And to answer your question, yes, just last year I went to a company called XR Space. It's a relatively new company, but they're producing different ways to experience virtual reality. So we got to go put on their VR goggles or glasses and really take a walk in what looks like or seems like a very different world.
Oh, well, I've watched people experience VR before. They were playing a video game, and it was really funny to watch.
Yeah, it's funny because they're in a room with you, but because they have this thing on, they look kind of strange when they're, you know, whatever they're doing with their hands.
Exactly. It was a dancing game, and the person wearing the VR glasses didn't have a good perception of the room they were in. They could only really think about what was on the screen, so watching them physically here in the room was really, really funny to watch.
Well, right. They need to be aware of their surroundings, right? You know, that's what we're going to talk about today. Actually, we're going to talk about the opposite in an article called AR Smart Glasses, the next big thing.
What do you mean the opposite?
Well, AR glasses are actually different from VR glasses, and figuring out the differences between the two is exactly what our article is going to teach us.
Okay then, let's get started so I can find out the difference. Are you ready to learn something new, friends? I know I am.
Let's do that together.
AR smart glasses, the next big thing. You can stop looking down at your phone. Heads Up Tech is here. You already use smartphones. You're familiar with smartwatches, and you've heard of or maybe even experienced virtual reality, VR. But what are smart glasses and augmented reality, AR? Experts predict that before the end of 2021, tech giants Apple, Facebook, and Google will join Amazon in making smart glasses commercially available. It's through these kinds of devices that AR could become a regular part of our daily lives. AR is not VR. Have you ever put on a VR device and found yourself in a computer-generated visual environment like the one in the movie Ready Player One?
Hi everyone, welcome to Language Lab. I'm Jack. 首先我们来看 virtual 这个形容词。原来的意思是几乎等同于实质上的，或者是拟真的。譬如说 ，If you live in a suburb in America, owning a car is a virtual necessity. 如果你住在美国的近郊住宅区，拥有一部车是近乎必要的。在网络世界里呢 ，virtual 的意思就是接近真实的或是虚拟的。譬如 We had a virtual birthday party for our son because our family lives in different states. 我们的家人分别住在不同的州，所以我们为儿子开了一个网络虚拟的生日派对。或是 Teachers throughout the entire country taught in virtual classrooms in 2020. 在2020年里，全国的老师们都在虚拟教室里教学。接着来看 augment 这个动词，意思是增强或是扩大。例如 Ashley is working in a restaurant to augment her income until she can get an acting job. Ashley 在餐馆工作，增加他的收入，直到他找到演员的工作为止。或者是 The rancher decided to augment the size of her ranch by buying a field that was for sale near her. 这位农场主人决定买下附近出售的农地，来扩大他的农场范围。Augment 的名词是 augmentation。我们来看例句。Our company has been discussing the possibility of some augmentations to employees' benefit packages, so they will stop complaining. 我们公司在讨论扩大员工福利方案的可能性，好让员工停止抱怨。好 ，Let's get back to our teachers.
Thank you very much, Jack. Let's get right into it. AR smart glasses, the next big thing. You can stop looking down at your phone. Heads up tech is here. Of course, tech is short for the word technology. Sometimes we just shorten that word for fun. Heads up tech is here. Anne-Marie, have you heard the Chinese phrase 低头族 before?
I have, and I see it every morning on my way to work.
What do you mean?
Oh, so many people on the MRT don't even realize when anyone walks past them. They don't see when someone needs to get past them or get off or on the train. Do you know why?
Or like when there's a pregnant lady who needs to have a seat on the train?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
they're looking at their phones.
Exactly, they're 低头族.
Yeah, but let's talk about that phrase heads up here for a minute, because there is a very specific way that we use this phrase sometimes in English. That is if something is about to go through the air and hit you. Have you ever heard someone say that before?
Sometimes they'll just say the word head or watch your head, right?
Yeah, or heads up.
Heads up.
Yep. If you throw something at someone and they're not paying attention and you say heads up, it means be careful, watch out, something is coming towards your head.
That's a great point, okay? If you want to warn somebody that something is coming towards their head, say heads up. But here we're seeing it used in a slightly different way. It's kind of the opposite of being 低头族, right? So here's something to solve that problem. Heads up. We read here, you already use smartphones, you're familiar with smart watches, and you've heard of or maybe even experienced virtual reality. Our lesson says you're familiar with smart watches. I would say perhaps a lot of you even use smart watches.
That's probably an accurate assumption reading on here. But what are smart glasses and augmented reality? All right, so later in our article, we are going to compare virtual reality and augmented reality. That will happen a little bit later, but let's read on here. Experts predict that before the end of 2021, tech giants Apple, Facebook, and Google will join Amazon in making smart glasses commercially available.
All right, that is available to the public. Anybody can buy it. Now, if you predict something, in Chinese you might clear your throat and say, 预测. All right, so you're saying that something might happen or probably will happen in the future. Now let's take a look at the word giant, because here we're talking about tech giants. We all think of companies like Apple and Google. You use this word to describe a very influential leader or organization in the field.
This also reminds me of another related phrase you won't see in your article here, but it's the phrase to have a monopoly on.
Oh.
Would you say, Gabe, that Apple, Facebook, and Google are companies that have a monopoly on the industry?
I think you're right about that. The reason I was making those sounds is because I'm not really happy when I think about companies having a monopoly on everything, because that's the idea of having complete control over something so that it's impossible for others to get involved or to make a real significant difference.
That's a great point. All right, let's keep reading here. It's through these kinds of devices that AR could become a regular part of our daily lives.
And AR is not VR. We're getting into that difference here. AR is not VR. Have you ever put on a VR device and found yourself in a computer-generated visual environment? Well, just to give you a picture of what VR looks like, it usually involves something that looks like goggles, right? And you put it around your eyes so that you can't see anything else except what's in that VR device.
Now, I have played a game in VR before, too.
You have?
I have. We went to a tech conference a few years ago, and it was when VR was just starting to get big.
Okay.
And I played a zombie game on this VR device.
Nice. How was that, Anne-Marie?
It felt like there were zombies coming from everywhere. It really felt like I was in that situation. I was really surprised with how realistic it was.
Well, it sounds like they did a pretty good job with their virtual reality. Friends, we have more to learn, but right now let's go to the info cloud.
Hello, friends, and welcome to InfoCloud. It's so nice to see you all here again. However, I think there's something going on with my friend Rex here. Rex, what's wrong?
Well, I had a performance last weekend. During the performance, my voice cracked when I was singing a high note. I felt very embarrassed and frustrated.
Really? Well, that's rare. You usually sound great whenever you sing. Don't worry about a little mistake and hold your head up high. You are still a great singer.
Hold my head up high. Okay, I kind of feel better now. Thank you.
You're welcome. When you say hold your head up high, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to do that physically, but mentally and emotionally.
You mean to feel proud of ourselves and our efforts, especially when we are facing challenges, failures, and mistakes?
Yes, don't let failure and the negative feeling that comes with that defeat you by making a decision to hold your head up high. Then you can keep moving forward.
当我们面临失败的时候，会有一种挫败感，因此我必须时时刻刻提醒自己，或是正在面对挑战的朋友们，要 hold your head up high。字面上是抬起头来，用来鼓励人们面对失败的时候要保持自信，不要垂头丧气的。After Peter's business failed, he still holds his head up high. Peter 生意失败后，他仍然昂首阔步，继续向前走。我们要知道，失败也是人生必经之路，也是很正常的，千万不要被打败。Hold your head up high。这就是今天的 InfoCloud，我们下次云端见。
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Welcome back to Studio Classroom, friends. So far today, we've learned about the possibility of AR in the form of smart glasses.
That's right. And now it's time to find out how AR actually works.
Are you ready? Keep those magazines out and let's go.
AR smart glasses, the next big thing. Unlike VR, AR doesn't replace the real world with an artificial world. Instead, it adds to our real-world activities by displaying computer-generated information within our field of vision. But AR glasses don't merely place images on our lenses. AR devices can see things such as our speed, location, biometric data, and even our emotional state. This will allow doctors, patients, coaches, athletes, educators, students, advertisers, and consumers to conveniently ask for and receive all kinds of valuable real-time data. Movies such as Iron Man, for example, show AR tech responding to speech and hand gestures, monitoring users' health and reporting important changes in users' biological conditions.
Alright， 接着来看 artificial 这个形容词，意思是人造的或是人工的。例如 The artificial flowers Barry gave his wife looked so real that she watered them. Barry 送给太太的人造花看起来太像真的花了，害得他每天都为这些假花浇水。或者是 Our food is so full of artificial coloring and artificial flavors that I don't know what anything should look or taste like anymore. 我们的食物里充满的人工色素和香精，害我已经不知道食物原来的长相和味道了。另外 artificial 也有虚假的或是不真诚的意思，例如 Serena gave her boss an artificial smile after he reprimanded her for doing something he didn't like. 老板因为 Serena 做了他不喜欢的事，责备他后，他就给了老板一个假笑。最后我们来看 biological 这个形容词，意思是生物的或是亲生的。譬如 Vivian was adopted as a baby and doesn't know who her biological parents are. Vivian 还是婴孩的时候就被领养，她不知道她的亲生父母是谁。Biological 的另外一个意思是生化武器的，例如 There's a great deal of fear that countries are developing the capacity to carry out biological warfare. 非常可怕的是，有几个国家都在发展生化武器。或者是 The Mayo Clinic is conducting biological research into a more effective treatment for diabetes. 梅有诊所正在进行提高糖尿病治疗效果的生物研究。Okay, let's get back to our teachers.
All right, friends, we don't have much time here. Let's talk about some things in the first two sentences. The word unlike here at the beginning kind of made me think of the phrase not to be confused with. So it could be easy for people to confuse virtual reality with augmented reality. So we could say not to be confused with VR. AR doesn't replace the real world with an artificial world.
That's right. Instead, it adds to our real-world activities by displaying computer-generated information within our field of vision.
Let's talk about field of vision, because that phrase is going to appear a few times throughout this lesson, okay? It's kind of what this lesson is about. Your field of vision is basically everything that you can see when you're looking in one place.
When you're driving, your field of vision is everything that you can see throughout your windshield, and just everything that is visible to yourself.
Okay, so if you have AR smart glasses like you just saw, okay, it's displaying computer-generated information within your field of vision. Now, there's another kind of vision, and that is peripheral vision. You can still see it, but it's not clear at all, and it's kind of in the edges or the corners of your eyes. We call that your peripheral vision.
That's right. Well, right now, friends, it is time for us to go see how our teachers do in today's SC Challenge.
All right, let's find out who's playing with us today. Please introduce yourselves and tell us who your favorite comic book superhero is.
My name is David. My favorite comic book superhero is probably Wolverine.
All right.
Right? Good calls. I love that guy.
I don't have a favorite comic book superhero,
That's
but
okay.
I do have a favorite comic character.
You mean comic
strip.
Oh, comic strip.
Comic strip, like from the newspaper.
Okay, so who is that?
Her name is Luann from the comic strip Luann.
All right, well, friends, check out Luann. And of course, you should already know Wolverine. Well, right now it's time for us to play Word Match. So we've got some words here. They all appear in your lesson about smart glasses. And I took a poll from all the other English teachers here at Studio Classroom to see how they responded to these words, what word or words they used to complete a new thought. So here are the words. Here's number one, and David, you can guess first, okay? The word is head. Head. How do you think they responded?
Head.
Head. It's hard.
Oh.
Manya, do you have a guess?
Headstrong.
Oh, that's nice. Headstrong. It means like you're really determined. And David?
Head case?
Head case? Can you explain that? A head case.
Something when someone's kind of crazy. Oh, I'm thinking of nut case. No,
Okay,
never
that's a
mind.
nut case.
Yeah.
Well, here's a hint, okay? When you need to go somewhere, you say you're going to
Head out.
head out. Manya has 1 point. Nice. Oh, did you know what that meant, friends? Head out. Okay, here is number two. Daily what?
Daily conversation.
Daily conversation.
That's what I was going to say.
There's other options.
Daily news.
Daily news is actually the response I got most. So another point for Manya, 2 points for Manya.
Oh, hey, you're on fire.
Okay, here is number 3. Artificial. Artificial what?
Artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence. Manya, did you have a guess?
Artificial flavor.
Yeah, there were a couple of things you could go with. The correct answer is artificial intelligence. Very nice job. Here's another one. Smart. Smart what?
Smart watch.
Smart watch.
Smartphone.
Smartphone. That's the answer that we got from most of our teachers. Smartphone. Very good. I think it's 3-1, and Manya, you're winning.
Oh.
Here's another one. The last one. Find. Find what?
Find out.
Find out. Find. Is there another one?
Find. No.
You could actually follow this up with a lot of things.
Finders keeper?
Finders keepers. That's what you say when you find something and it maybe belongs to somebody else, but you want to keep it for yourself. Actually, the answer is find time, friends. Maybe you guessed that. Well, Manya is today's winner, and that is all the time that we have for today's SC Challenge. We'll see you next time.
Hi again, friends. You know, I was thinking about the fact that many of you are probably teenagers, which means that you grew up with things like Facebook and YouTube already well established as a normal part of the online world. Smart glasses like the ones we learned about today may change the world in a big way. And by the time people not born yet come into the world, they might just be a normal part of life. So here's my question. What's a world-changing piece of technology that came into the world when you were growing up? And how important is it to adapt your life to that technology or that kind of advancement?
Well, when I was born, I think that cell phones, maybe they were a thing already, but not nearly like the smartphones that we have today. And I remember it wasn't until I was a junior in college, so my 3rd year in college, that I had my own, it wasn't even a smartphone, it was a cell phone. Yeah, and so that was a big piece of technology that obviously changed the world around me. And I gotta say, you know, before I got that cell phone, life was okay, but after I got it, I quickly became addicted and realized, wow, what would I do without this?
Those kind of things really can change your life. I remember when I was growing up, when I was really young, we used to listen to cassette tapes.
Oh, yes, cassette tapes, 卡带, right? 录音带.
So when we wanted to listen to music or when we were riding in the car, that's what we would put in. But at a certain point, things kind of changed over to CDs, and you couldn't get cassette tapes anymore.
And what's interesting is now everything is digital.
Right.
Right? But I still have a lot of CDs.
You do have CDs still?
I do.
Do you use them?
Yes, I do, because we have a CD player in our car. So I think, you know, CDs still have better quality sound than a lot of digital stuff, so I might as well use them.
Okay, well, that makes sense. How about you, friends? Was there any kind of technology that you could talk about in English that has changed your life or maybe will change people's lives in the future? That's
right. Make sure that you reread our lesson, friends, and we'll see you next time to learn more about AR smart glasses right here on
Studio Classroom.
Friend lasts a lifetime. I am so proud to have you in my life. A good friend lasts a lifetime.